Hello and welcome to All 32. My name is Arabia, and here we talk all things football. It's ISO week. Yes, it's ISO week. It's just me and you all week. Let's spend some time together. Let's talk ball together. Chant Bailey, Coach George, Matthew Judon, they will be back very soon. But this week, you got me. Before we get into the show, I did want to just remind you about the Fanatics codes that are in the description box below. It's getting cold. You might want to get hats, scarves, jackets, pajamas. Just the weather is changing. Get some Fanatics stuff. They have some really cool new gear. Also, the holiday season is coming up. Never too early to start your holiday shopping. Last week, I gave y'all 25% off all the Fanatics. I gave y'all 30% off all Fanatics. So make sure you're checking the description box every single show to see what discounts are available. Now, I'm getting right into it. Miami. Yeah. A mess in Miami. So the front of the class, Dolphins. Stephen Ross, and I'm going straight to the top with it. Stephen Ross, owner of the Dolphins, also owns other businesses, which is very common. Owners in the NFL own their NFL teams, but they also own other businesses. Cool. But here's my theory about Stephen Ross. The Miami Dolphins are Stephen Ross's side chick. Well, who's the main chick? Great question. Formula One, Miami Grand Prix, is Stephen Ross's main chick. And let me explain why. Ticket revenue for F1 Miami Grand Prix is 25% more than the ticket revenue for the Miami Dolphins' entire season. Yeah. Also, on top of all that, more tickets are sold for a 3-day event for F1 than the Miami Dolphins' entire home schedule all season. In 2023, Miami Dolphins' entire home season schedule, the amount of tickets for that, way less than for a 3-day event for F1 Miami Grand Prix. Not only that, the 3-day event is estimated to have generated about $350 million for the local economy. Stephen Ross ain't worried about the Dolphins as much as he's worried about Formula One, Miami Grand Prix. It's just a fact. He's a side chick. Miami Dolphins are his side chick. He goes over there. He kind of like hangs around, messes with him when he's in the mood for it. But his attention isn't directly on the Dolphins. And it's very clear. So when you see a Chris Grier hired in 2016 as general manager and he's still there, when you see Flores fired and Mike McDaniel hired and McDaniel is still there after a 1-6 start, and Ross says something like there's nothing over these past few weeks that would lead him to have to make some changes, it just makes you stop and wonder. Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald reported that an associate of Stephen Ross was asked why Ross isn't making any changes after a 1-6 start. He cited the owner wanting to give McDaniel and Grier a fair amount of time to turn this around. Yesterday and previous weeks did not qualify, in his view, as reasons to change from that approach. Well, what would qualify? What will qualify? And I don't think this is a scapegoat situation. I've talked about how head coaches tend to be scapegoats for poor play, or quarterbacks tend to be scapegoats. But I genuinely believe that Mike McDaniel it's time for him to go. Not only is he performing very horribly, he gets to the podium week after week and just says weird stuff. His latest debacle at the podium, he goes up and he's like, yeah, there's not going to be any quarterback changes. Two is still going to be quarterbacks. We just hope that he doesn't throw 10 picks. Why would you say that? Why would you go up to the podium and be like, yeah, the plan is that he doesn't throw 10 picks? Yes, it's true, but is that how you want your head coach up at the podium talking about your quarterback? Your quarterback is at the podium talking about leadership. I mean, culturally, the locker room, the Dolphins organization right now under Mike McDaniel and Tua, just the combination of the two, is not working. Chris Grier included. So I'm not sure if Stephen Ross is really even has his pulse on what's happening with the Dolphins enough to make any changes. He worried about that race. It just makes you wonder how much time and attention Stephen Ross is applying to the Dolphins, which is a venture for him that isn't generating as much revenue as his other ventures and really hasn't seen any success. Also worth noting that F1 makes the Dolphins more valuable because F1 is basically held in the parking lot. Pretty much held in the parking lot. So that, because it's held at Hard Rock Stadium, actually adds revenue or adds value to the Miami Dolphins. So it's kind of just funneling into his other venture. I think we should call him out. I think it's worth at least questioning, because what happens as a side chick if you're not happy? One of three things. Either you sit there, nothing changes, unless he wants it to change. You make some noise, and then he's like, oh, okay, and tries to pacify you and do something about it. Or you can kick rocks. And by kicking rocks, I mean become a fan of another team, but that doesn't really happen. Just got to make some noise about it. If you're concerned about if I'm a Dolphins fan, I'm asking questions. I'm asking more questions. I'm demanding more of my owner. I'm demanding more. If that's my head coach, if that's my GM, if that's my quarterback, I'm holding them accountable. And so I will never understand fans of any team who just sit back and are yes men. Like, no matter what the head coach says, no matter what the quarterback says, no matter what they do on the field, you're just always backing them, no matter what. Nothing is going to change if you're just going to be a yes man. So, Stephen Ross, pay attention to your side chick. Your main chick is good, but you need to pay attention to your side chick because she's over here not doing well at all. And if I were a fan, again, I would make some noise. Speaking of Chris Grier, there has been this Tua Justin Herbert comparison since they entered the league, since they were drafted, and Grier passed up on Justin Herbert at 5 and, let the Chargers get him at 6. There's always been this comparison to see who's better. Did Chris Grier make the right decision by getting Tua instead of Justin Herbert? To be honest, for me, they both kind of messing up. Say what you want about Tua, say what you want about Herbert. Neither one of them in their respective organizations has accomplished much. I mean, the ultimate goal of any team is to win a Super Bowl. Neither one of them have playoff stats to even reference, really. Playoff wins, at least. And Herbert, for example, in the last game, 420 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, a couple of interceptions, all these big quarterbacky stats, but still loses the game. Now, there are several instances that we have mentioned on this show where quarterbacks go to a different situation and perform differently. But the Tua Herbert comparison, I think we can lay to rest. Herbert may be the better quarterback, but neither quarterback is leading their team to the promised land. On that note, I want to just say I hate quarterback rankings. Is Lamar Jackson better than Josh Allen? Is Joe Burrow better than Patrick Mahomes? Who cares? It's just such an unproductive conversation to me. Let's say we do say that Josh Allen is better than Lamar Jackson. Now, what do we do with that information? I just don't care. I don't care who your top 5 is. That doesn't move the needle for me in any regard. So if you put Justin Herbert in your top 5 and you don't have Jalen Hurts in your top 5, that's cool. Then you look at a Daniel Jones. Do you put Daniel Jones in your top 5 for this season? I don't know. I don't care. The whole ranking thing really just bothers me. So let's lay the Tua Herbert argument to rest. Neither one of them really is doing anything as far as leading their team in the NFL to the Super Bowl or even the playoffs. And Miami, just set your sights on who's going to be your next head coach, because it should not be Mike McDaniel. Moving along to the Eagles-Vikings game, you know what's so crazy to me? I have not seen enough media coverage of this Eagles-Vikings game. And what a coincidence. It's a game that Jalen Hurts really slang that pill. He was really throwing a rock. Jalen Hurts can't with his arm. He ain't this, he ain't that. And when he does that, where's the media coverage about it? I've seen some things here and there. I'm not saying that there's absolutely none, but we're going to talk about it today. Against the number 2 passing defense in the NFL, Jalen Hurts was 19 for 23, 326 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, no interceptions, with a perfect passer rating of 158.3. I want to say shout out to Black Philly quarterbacks. The Eagles quarterbacks with the most games with 300 plus passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. Number 1, Donovan McNabb. Number 2, Jalen Hurts. And number 3, Randall Cunningham. Philly with the black QBs seems to be a very good recipe. The Eagles are really trying to pull away in the NFC East. They're trying. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are proving why they're one of the best wide receiver duos in the NFL, especially in this game. Absolutely insane. A combined 13 catches for 304 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. Devontae had a career-high 183 receiving yards, which is the most by any NFL receiver this year. You think about like a Chris Godwin and a Mike Evans, unfortunately injured. You think about even Amon-Ra and Jamison Williams. They're pretty good. Even think about in the Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. They're great. But A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are absolutely contenders for best wide receiver duo in the NFL. And when Jalen Hurts can really spread the ball around, hit both of his targets, it's almost like, well, what are you going to do? Really hard to defend. The NFC East has 2 teams that has really great wide receiver duos. On top of all that, Carson Wentz looked really, really bad. Looked really terrible. Several missed opportunities, particularly in the red zone. If the Vikings want to have someone come in and hold them over until J.J. McCarthy is ready, they got to figure it out. Carson Wentz has to tighten up, or the Vikings have to figure out something different. Dre Greenlaw was suspended without pay for basically running a ref down after the game and kind of mouthing off at a ref and, being verbally aggressive. Now, I don't know what was said, but in slow motion, you do see the ref kind of push a Chiefs player out of the way. Dre Greenlaw didn't like it. Again, I don't know if that's what the root of it was or if there was kind of like some back and forth between Dre and this ref all game. Either way, suspended without pay seems aggressive to me. Like, it just seems like a little bit much. Also, people are like, oh, the ref pushed number 40. You have all these guys and equipment. Big football, NFL players and equipment jumping around the kicker, happy, The ref's really just trying to get out the way. Like, I didn't see it as a full extended arm, aggressive push. He's trying to get out the way. And so I feel like it was more than just, it had to be more than just that, more than him just kind of trying to get out the way. Either way, Dre didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do that. But at the same time, NFL didn't have to suspend him without pay. Whatever your thoughts are, comment below. What do you think about Dre Greenlaw being suspended without pay for 1 game? He does put his team in a predicament because you aren't available, and the best ability is availability, whether it's injury or suspensions, all these different things. But this story is a little bit overrated to me. Get the game over with. Don't mouth off to refs, and let's just keep it pushing. How would you guys feel if I told you that the Patriots are just the 2024 Commanders? Great record, looking good, sneaking out wins against good teams, competing in their division against a team who everyone else thought was just a straightaway winner. Patriots are really benefiting from an easy schedule. And that's not to take any of the wins away from them or saying that, they don't deserve it, whatever. But it really feels like just last year's Commanders, where they're benefiting from a structure in their schedule that allows them to accumulate wins, particularly early in the season. Still a lot of season left, but I don't believe in the Patriots enough to make a playoff run or even repeat the success again next year. I think next year will really be the test to see if they repeat kind of this same success next year, they got a little something to them. But for right now, I see the Patriots as just the 2024 Commanders. Speaking of the Dolphins, Malcolm X would be alive today if Tua was the shooter. So the same thing about Justin Fields. MLK will be alive today if Justin Fields was the shooter. Both of these individuals, if they were sent to assassinate somebody, that person would come back alive and well. That person would have enjoyed their day, came back happy and alive. Tua's passer rating against the Browns is barely old enough to go to the club and buy a drink. 24.1 passer rating. 3 interceptions, no touchdowns. I mean, it's just a bit ridiculous. It's a bit ridiculous. You paid him all this money. I'm not going back to the Miami Dolphins, but it's really a mess in Miami. Like I said, Dolphins fans need to be forward thinking. Who's going to be your next head coach? That's the mentality of the Dolphins at this point in the season. You're 0-4 in away games, 1-6 record to start the season on a 3-game losing streak. Now, the Browns, on the other hand, just capitalized on the schedule opportunity that is the Miami Dolphins. They scored 20 points. They scored more than 20 points for the first time since December 2024, so congrats on that. And I'm really happy to see the adjustment in Dillon Gabriel's passing. That previous game against the Steelers, Dillon Gabriel threw 52 times. They had this rookie throw the ball 52 times against the Steelers. This game against the Dolphins, he threw 18 times. Way more manageable load for Dillon Gabriel. Judkins carried the ball 25 times, had 3 touchdowns. Definitely helped the rookie in that regard. Otherwise, the Browns' only win in their conference is the Miami Dolphins. So there you go. Congratulations, Browns. Let's talk a little bit about this Monday Night Football doubleheader. The first game was Lions-Bucks. Mike Evans comes back. Finally comes back. And immediately gone again. Something about like a broken clavicle. He also left the game with a concussion. You just hate to see it. And I hate to see it on a team like the Bucks, where I know if they're fully healthy, they're competing with everybody, not just in the NFC, but in the NFL. Like a real contender. Now, what I think about the Bucks is that they're such a good team that even their depth is able to come in and make some plays. Now, to be fair, they're playing the Lions. The Lions also a great team because they're also dealing with injury, particularly on the defense, particularly in the secondary, where some of their starters are just not available right now, but they're still playing well. That matchup seemed to favor the Lions because, yes, Emeka Egbuka is playing absolutely lights out for the rookie. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, when you don't have that and you're relying on, some DBs to come in and make plays, Rock Yassin, etc., then I would favor the Lions in that matchup. So what does that mean for the Bucs moving forward? I think they adjust. I don't think their season is over with in any regard. I think they're going to have to rely more on getting Baker and these receivers more chemistry throughout the week, because I did see a lot of miscommunication and miscues between Baker and those receivers. Tez Johnson stepped up. He looks really good. But once he's really on the same page as Baker, he could really make some noise. Him and Egbuka could be a really great duo on that field. And then you've got the ground game in Tampa Bay that could also really sustain drives. So I don't think their season is over. They still look like a really great team. But my God, Bowles, can we get some time management? It's a critique I've had of him for seasons, multiple seasons now, where he just does not manage time well at all. If they can get that together and they can get Baker on the same page as some of these newer receivers who have to come in for injury, then they'll be fine. The Bucs season is not over by any regard. And Seahawks-Texans, really not much to say here. Texans do not look good this year at all. The protection for C.J. Stroud was not good at all. They've had some real shuffling of that offensive line. Commanders have Laramie Tunsil right now. Titus Howard is still on the Titans. They still have Juice Scruggs. They have Ingram now on that offensive line. But they just do not look good at all. Sam Darnold is balling. Like, balling. He looks really, really great. Minnesota. I wouldn't, at this point, seeing what I see from Sam Darnold, I would not want to see him sitting behind anybody. So if the plan was for J.J. McCarthy to be QB1, I wouldn't want to see Sam Darnold as QB2, because I think Sam Darnold deserves to be a starting quarterback on an NFL team, and he's doing so great on the Seahawks. So I'm happy that worked out the way that it was, the way that it did. McDonald is dialing shit up for Seattle. They look really, really good. Do I believe in Sam Darnold and Cooper Kupp and Mike McDonald to, like, compete in the NFC? Why not? Why not? The Seattles are like a perennial playoff team anyway. But I just need to see more from them. I don't believe in them postseason until I see it. That's my only thing. Can they compete with the Lions? Can they compete with the Eagles? Can they compete with the Bucks? Can they compete with some of these better teams in the NFC that could really pose a threat in the playoffs? Even the 49ers. Like, hats off to the 49ers for dealing with injury. We keep talking about how injury is just running through some teams, but the 49ers are able to get it done even with injury. But another team that has a very easy schedule And Champ Bailey and I spoke on the show about what that means, a easy schedule, and that players shouldn't have that mentality. But as fans and as media, we can use the strength of schedule as a way to analyze how easy it is for a team to win games. And the 49ers have the easiest schedule in the NFL right now. So they are benefiting from an easy schedule, but guys still got to go out there and make plays. And that's exactly what's happening. So shout out to San Francisco. Shout out to Kyle Shanahan for putting the guys in the position to win, regardless of injury and all the other things. And once again, like, these double-header Monday Night Football games, I cannot stand. They staggered it, so one started at 7 Eastern Time, one started at 10 Eastern Time. Basically, I think the first one started like 7:15 or something. I don't like it. The NFL expanded its broadcasting rights to Disney, which means that there's more games on ESPN and ABC. And if this is something that's working out for them, they could extend it to Thursday Night Football again. Not something that I want to see, but something to keep an eye out for. Let's do some NFL predictions. NFL predictions. So I saw you guys in the comments asking for the show to be posted at a different time. I'm a woman of the people. Would you guys like to see the show earlier in the day? Let me know. Does the 4 p.m. Eastern Time release work for you? Or would you like for the show to be released earlier in the day, like a 10 a.m. Eastern? All times are in Eastern Time. A 10 a.m., maybe a 12 p.m. lunchtime thing. Like, what time for you works as far as the show being released? Let me know. All right, NFL predictions. I think I'm going to also do like a Friday quick prediction show where I'm just giving you my picks for the upcoming week. Week 7 was probably the most complicated week for me as far as predictions because I felt like a lot of games could go either way. Week 7 was tough. Week 8, I don't feel that way about. Week 8 for me seems to be one of the easier weeks to predict. Let's do 3 today. Vikings, Chargers. This one actually could go either way. This is a Thursday night football game. I'm gonna go Chargers just because Carson Wentz looks extremely horrible. Extremely horrible. Now, if Carson Wentz can really kind of clean things up and all that, cool. But the way I saw him play last week, week 7, absolutely terrible. I'm taking the Chargers at home. Dolphins, Falcons. Come on now. It's the Falcons. Bears, Ravens. Ravens look really horrible. Bears don't look terrible. That's another game that can kind of go either way. I'm going to say Bears for now. On my Friday wrap-up show, I might change my mind. But for right now, Vikings, Chargers, I have the Chargers. Dolphins, Falcons, I have the Falcons. And Bears, Ravens, I have the Bears. Keep an eye out for that Friday prediction show for the Sunday slate of games. That's all the time that we have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you next time.